What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another tune from the 1988 NES version of Ninja Gaiden, a franchise that began with a lot of fanfare and then continued in multiple decades into the future, meaning there's Ninja Gaiden games on the original Xbox. I believe there's been Ninja Gaiden games within the last 7 or 8 years, so it's a franchise that has continued and worked its way up the technological ladder, and of course, the original games now look very simple by comparison, but there's just something about the first couple in particular. The third one I didn't really play, so I can't speak to that, but the first one I think is legendary. The second one is the same kind of legendary, and it threw in a couple additional challenges, like there's hazardous weather, winds that blow you around, and so on, which wasn't in the first one. But yes, they're crazy, they're fast, they're side-scrolling, intense. They're just real genre-defining games when it comes to the side-scrolling, beat-em-up and or action game genre. And one of the games that I think made that genre such a big part of the NES, and then even the next generation, the 16-bit generation with the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. So yes, we're going to listen to a tune, and people who know my channel and know one of my TV interests from the 80s will be amused by. It is Ninja Gaiden Master Ninja theme. Yeah, it's called the Master Ninja theme, and people who know Master Ninja, which was a pair of Mystery Science Theater 3000 episodes, will be aware that was based on a show called The Master, which was a show with an American guy who became a ninja after World War II, played by Lee Van Cleef, and all the sort of 80s TV goodness that might suggest, and it was sort of like the A-Team. Anyway, I did a full riff series of episodes of The Master, and people who know that show will be familiar with the phrase Master Ninja. So again, this tune I remember from playing Ninja Gaiden back in the day, and again, I've played the game more recently, and I think it's just brilliant. But because it's called the Master Ninja theme, it just has this extra bit of serendipitous connection. But yeah, it's intense, it's fast, it has multiple sections which really show off not only the capabilities of the two composers of the soundtrack, which again, it's Yamagishi, Keiji, and is it Rita or Nitta? I think it's Nitta. Yeah, Nitta Ryuichi. It not only shows off their skills composing with limited hardware, but it really sets the stage for the pulse-pounding action that is in the game, which again involves climbing up walls and making precision jumps as enemies attack you from both sides and so on. So this track, I think, perfectly encapsulates the intense, frenetic gameplay in the not only first game but the entire series. So let's give it a listen. This is from the Ninja Gaiden 1988 for the NES soundtrack by composers Yamagishi, Keiji, and Nitta Ryuichi. It's called Master Ninja Theme from Ninja Gaiden. do like that the loops in the files I have for this soundtrack are a little bit longer. They let it loop like 3 or 4 times. There's a few I have that only let it loop twice, and in those cases a track could be like 45 seconds long. Because again, if there's multiple stages, they have to put like multiple different tracks, and for music in general there was a limited amount of space on these 8-bit cartridges, and so they had to make do with what they could. And as I said, it's a testament to the skill of the composers, not just the two here, but for other NES games, that they made such memorable and legendary soundtracks with such limited hardware. Whereas even if you go ahead just about 10 or 12 years to the late 90s, then you're into the PlayStation, the original PlayStation generation, and Dreamcast and some of the first disc systems, and those allowed for much larger space and greater technical capabilities for soundtracks, and so then you get soundtracks that definitely have a bigger feel to them. But as I also said, I'm very sympathetic and nostalgic about chiptune tracks, and I think this soundtrack in particular is one that always grabs the ear. This tune is one of the best examples, and if you know the game, it's like hearing that. It's like you can just feel yourself like clutching the controller, trying to make every like precision jump. You can hear that sword slash sound, and the sound of your character getting hit, and there's just, a real take me back to the days type of feeling to it. But even if you don't know the game, and even if you've never heard the track, I think you can get a sense that it's a very action-packed, pulse-pounding type of soundtrack, which fits the gameplay. So, as I said, I'm looking forward to doing a playthrough of it. We'll see if I can beat it. Again, I've beaten it on the NES Mini in recent years, and again, also, there's unlimited continues, but when you get near the end, it depends on how you first encounter the boss, meaning if you fail very badly against the final boss the first time you get there, yeah, you can keep continuing, but the game makes you pay for it. So it's almost like, oh, this was a little too hard for you, well now it's going to be even harder, which, it's the type of sadistic programming that was in a lot of those old school games. But we'll see what I can do. Let me know if you like the soundtrack tunes, and this probably won't be the last time we'll hear some from this soundtrack, because there's a lot of other good tracks too. Let me know, and I will see you next time. Peace.